time. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It is a Friday edition of Duck Insider. It's the work week bye week, which means Jerry Allen is literally off-site constructing a fence right now. True story. That's why Jerry's joining us on Zoom. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, Joey, how you doing? Now, I actually deconstructed one, and now I'm reconstructing.
Well, you could have called me for the demolition part. The rebuilding, though, is way less fun. So Jerry's with us. Jorgie is actually on vacation in Boise, which means that I got nothing. If Jorgie didn't send in his picks, I don't know. We've got nothing. We're gonna make some picks. We're gonna review the season. The first, though, hard-hitting question. I also should say, Coach Altman. We're gonna talk with Dane Altman coming up today as well. Football bye week means we can focus on basketball a bit. Volleyball tonight. Softball's in action. Baseball continuing practice. A lot to cover on today's Duck Insider. But we begin with the hard-hitting question for Jerry Allen. So it's not a bye week. It's a work week. Did you work on anything internally, Jerry, that you needed to get better at here in the near midpoint of the season?
As a matter of fact, I did. I'm working on fence building, which I, used to do a lot when I was younger and the fences were new, but they've gotten older. And so I've had to research. Thank God we have the internet, because I had no idea how to build a fence. I put a hole in the ground, you put a post in the ground, but how do you keep it from wobbling? I mean, I'm getting there. Okay. So this has been a work week.
Yeah, I knew it was. I had to ask. That's great. That's awesome. All right. Well, hey, season so far, Jerry. I mean, it's the bye week. Ducks are sitting undefeated. I know a lot of fans are excited that you get 2 weeks now to lead up to the big game against Washington. What do you think? Like, general question, open floor for the voice of the Ducks. Where are the Ducks at right now in this football season?
I think they're right where they need to be. They've had some impressive wins over teams they were supposed to have impressive wins. They beat a good Colorado team with one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, handled them. And to me, they showed toughness on the road at Texas Tech, getting behind, not playing well, miscues, mistakes, but still gutted it out with good leadership and found a way to come back and win that game. So we're seeing this team get better each week, which is what you want. You want to see progress, and we're seeing progress.
I think that's a great point. Like, early in the season, it was penalties. It was you want to be more consistent, and I feel like the Ducks have addressed those things. Then it was, on if you're a defensive back on deep balls, you want to be able to find the ball. Coach Lanning talked about that. Then were more penalty issues, but the Ducks have fixed a lot of those things, I feel like. And Jerry, I love that you brought up the Texas Tech game, because right now that's the closest thing the Ducks have to likely what they're going to see in Seattle coming up next weekend, I should say. I'm already in Seattle for next week. I'm there already.
Yeah, I've lost my days of the week too. I mean, I almost forgot that we're doing a show today. It didn't seem like Friday. I mean, it's gone by that fast. So I'm looking forward to next week too. I mean, it's going to be a defining game, and then there's another defining game after that. So it's the meat of the season when you really find out how good the Pac-12 is, who are the top 3 or 4 teams in the Pac-12. And this game coming up a week from today, or tomorrow actually, is going to tell us a lot, not only for Oregon, but for Washington.
Well, to that point, the Pac-12 being really good, we are going to make some picks. I should say, Jorgie did submit his picks, so the way that we're going to do this week, Knight is directing the show. Knight has the graphics produced, so when it gets to Jorgie's turn, we'll have it, and it's all on record. Jorgie can't accuse us of cheating.
He's never going to pick him again. He's never going to pick him again.
Never going to pick him again. So where we are in picks as we begin our Sylvan Ridge Winery picks for the week. Everybody was perfect last week except the coin, which, Jerry, I have to ask, do we have a motion that I will flip the coin, or do you have a coin present with you?
Actually do not have a coin, so I'm in favor of having you flip the coin. All those in favor?
We have the coin.
Okay.
The ayes have it. Okay, so
we did it legally. Okay.
Yeah, and now we have evidence, so Jorgie can't say that we're cheating. So I've got the coin. Heads is the duck head for obvious reasons. So we've got that. We're good there. Right now, Jerry has to pick first because he's still tied for first place in picks with me, and he had the best week 3 weeks ago because we've all been perfect in picks each of the last 2 weeks. Jerry has been perfect in picks for 3 straight weeks. So well done to you. Here's to ruining that streak this week. The first game on the docket, Jerry will pick first, then me, then Jorgie, then the coin. First game on the docket, noon on Pac-12 Network tomorrow. Number 13, Washington State, 4-0, 1-0 in Pac-12 play, visits UCLA, 3-1, 0-1 in conference action. By the way, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Knight is putting the poll in the YouTube comments, and you can vote with us right now. So, Jerry, what do you think?
Well, right now I've got a post hole I have to dig, so for just a moment I'm going to have to defer.
He's deferring on this one. Wow. So you're not going to defer Colorado ASU. You're not going to defer Arizona USC. You're not going to defer Oregon State Cal. You're going to choose to defer Washington State UCLA, huh?
Yeah, I think it's a tough pick. I'm not, it's the closest on the betting lines on all of them. So yeah, I'll wait and see on this one.
Yeah, I am taking Washington State. I think that UCLA, we said going into the season, would be really sneaky good. I think they have been sneaky good. I think Washington State's been sneakier good this year. Defense is no joke. I think Cam Ward is probably a little disappointed that there are so many other good quarterbacks in this conference, because otherwise he would be showing up top a lot of the quarterback leaderboards in the Pac-12. I think Washington State showed me something the first couple weeks of the season. I got the Cougs. Now, the way this will work, Knight, so that we have it on recording, Jorgie's pick is Washington State. Okay.
Woo!
Jorgie takes the Cougs. And I should tell everybody, Jorgie submitted his picks to Scott Phillips ahead of time. Scott made the graphics. They're on recorded record, Jorgie, so if we changed anything, it is what it is. All right, coin flip. Coin is going with the road team in Washington State. That's Wazoo across the board, Jerry. Now back to you.
Okay, well, that makes it very easy. I'm going to pick UCLA.
Yeah, I figured you would.
Yeah, I just think they're back home, and
I just think that you don't have any idea who's going to win, and you're just going to take a risk on one to try to get some separation between you and I.
I know the Cougars are good. There's no doubt about it. But UCLA, you said it when we started, is a good football team. I think they're gooder at home. I'm going to give them the advantage, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go UCLA. Isn't gooder a word?
They're gooder at home.
I think it's a candy bar, isn't it?
It's funner, Jerry.
It's funner. Okay.
It's funner. That's
okay.
That's great. Yeah, UCLA. I think it's a good pick. I mean, I think it's a good pick. We'll see what happens. UCLA is favored by 3.5 points. It's expected to be a bit of a shootout with an over/under around 60 in Vegas. So we'll see what happens down in the Rose Bowl. Should have said, Jerry, it's going to be 89 degrees at kickoff. I don't know if it matters.
Woo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, fewer fans will get sunburned because there won't be a whole lot of them there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Colorado 3-2, 0-2 in Pac-12 play. The 3:30 kickoff on the Pac-12 Network. Buffs visit Arizona State 1-4, 0-2 in conference action. Jerry, you said that the odds makers actually had Washington State UCLA as the closest game. Well, this one is actually just as close by the odds makers today. They're both a 3.5 point line. Who you got?
Well, I was impressed with the way Colorado played. I was impressed that they got coached back up to still play their football. Of course, at home it's a lot easier, but that was against a good USC team. Arizona State is not very good. I think Colorado goes down and handles the Sun Devils, and it might not be that close.
Interesting. Yeah, I've got Colorado also. Georgie? Colorado. Georgie, God, I don't like that I'm picking the same as Georgie. That scares me. Coin, heads, home team,
Home
ASU.
team.
Yeah.
Poor coin.
You know, I agree with you, though, Jerry. I felt like Colorado had led fourth quarter comebacks so often. We saw it against USC. The offense got it going against that SC defense. The one team that Colorado hasn't been able to come back against has been the Ducks.
No doubt. I mean, and that speaks for something now. A lot of people are going to say Oregon's at home. They're that good at home. I just think Oregon is good offensively and, more importantly, defensively. I think that's going to be a key in the games that are coming up. But, yeah, Colorado had no answer for Oregon any way, shape, or form. USC almost didn't have an answer for Colorado.
Yeah. I agree. I'm right there with you. Continuing with our Sylvan Ridge Winery pick, 7 o'clock on Pac-12 Network tomorrow, number 15 OSU at Cal. I was actually surprised. Vegas has this about a touchdown favorite for Oregon State. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, if the Beavers want to make this the season, they've got to win this game. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's on the road to Cal. Cal can play some pretty good football. I just think Oregon State's a better team. Even on the road, I think they get it done. And so I'm going to go Beavers.
I think Oregon State is a really solid team, despite Cal running a lot more offensive plays this year than in years past. Cal's defense still, they can win ugly. So can Oregon State. I think Oregon State's a better team, so I give Oregon State the advantage in what could be it could turn into a little bit of a slobber knocker.
Yeah. Haven't seen one of those in a while.
I know. Where's Georgie when you need him?
Oh,
Georgie's
man.
pick, OSU Cal. What's he taking tonight?
He's going to pick Cal.
Oregon State.
Oh, come on, Georgie. You're never going to pick him.
Everyone's going Beavs. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good pick. The coin flip.
No, it is.
The road team in Oregon State. We're going rapid fire with picks. We'll finish up with Arizona at USC. 7:30 on ESPN, Jerry.
USC's got to be a little irritated, got something to prove, and they're back home. They play pretty well at home, so I think it's kind of a runaway for Oregon State. For USC. I think
it's a runaway for Oregon State now.
No. Let's back up. I can't change my pick. Oh, wait a minute. I already picked them. Never mind. Yeah, it's a runaway.
That's right.
USC. Let's go USC.
Yeah, I think USC's defense is vulnerable. There's been so much conversation about that. You look at the numbers, you see it, but there's so much noise about it now, I feel like, down in Los Angeles. So I'm wondering, does Arizona take advantage of that? I think
I tell you, I'm just going to say this. There's so much noise about USC's defense because of the numbers they're putting up. I mean, those are facts. That's what they're doing. The deeper you get into the season, the more those numbers support what you're seeing. And so I think USC is okay at defense, but I don't think they are anywhere near as good as their offense. And so if teams can score against USC, they can keep up with them.
Yeah, that's been one thing. Looking at all the numbers like I do, you look at Oregon's balance of an offensive and a defensive top 10, top 15 team in pretty much every metric. USC isn't that. USC can score, though. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah.
USC can score. But, yeah, I think the Trojans are going to win. I think Georgie thinks the Trojans are going to win, too. Knight's got it on record for us. USC. What a boring week of picks. Oh, geez, I almost lost the coin on you. Road team for the coin, that's Arizona. So everybody is taking Oregon State, Washington State, Colorado, USC, except Jerry, who is going UCLA in the Wazoo-UCLA game. I will be tuned into that. And, Jerry, I look forward to picking first next week. Thanks for the time, buddy.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, technically speaking, I did pick first this week because you deferred the first pick.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to defer my first pick next week. We'll see.
Okay.
That's confidence talking.
Right, sure. Jerry Allen, voice of the Ducks. Enjoy that work week. Thanks for the time. Good picks, as usual, and we'll catch up with you next week getting ready for the Huskies, huh?
All right, I'm taking my blisters and calluses back outside, and I will see you on Monday.
Yeah, no, true story. He's literally building a fence right now.
Yes.
That's what's happening. All right, we're gonna get a timeout. Shift gears, a little more football. Also hearing from Dana Altman. Duck basketball going to be here before you know it on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack with you in the Country Financial Studio. It's a Friday. Jerry and Georgie with us in spirit, right? Jerry, no, but truthfully, though, that's a true story. He's literally building a fence right now. So we got him, though, for a few minutes, did some picks. And I want to read one of our comments because Tobiah mentioned that vacationing in Boise sounds like punishment, Georgie. I didn't say it. I got family that lives in Boise. If they hear me say something like that, I'd never get to come visit. But I didn't say it, Georgie. I didn't say it. Basketball season's almost here. Dana Altman, Oregon men's basketball head coach, sat down with the media about 20 minutes yesterday. Some updates for you. I know a lot of people have been wondering, how's practice going heading into the new season for Duck basketball? Well, Coach Altman on that subject and a whole heck of a lot more here this week.
What's up? Well, how do you feel the last 6 months have gone in terms of personnel and what you've been able to add, and the freshmen, but also the staff and getting that together here the last couple?
It's been up and down. You know, it's a lot of change, you know, with a lot of new players, 7 new players on scholarship. We have 12 on scholarship, 7 new, 5 guys returning. So, you know, a lot of turnover. Had some turnover with our staff, added Lou, and we put Fish back on the road. So, you know, been a lot of change. You know, the portal has changed things. Everybody's talked about that, NIL, and they definitely have changed the landscape and, you know, changed the continuity, you know, of ball teams. But you know, I think although it's been busy, I think it's been a good summer. We've had some nagging injuries. You know, Mookie hurt his ankle in the Iverson All-Star game, and that's been a problem for him. You know, We've had some guys in and out of workouts, but for the most part, started practice last Thursday. So we've had 4 practices. We'll get back at it today. So, hopefully we just keep making progress.
You have an early sense for just identity of this team, strengths?
Well, Dante, once we, get Dante back on the floor, he's been out a while here. But once we get him back, he's an all-conference player. He got 13 and almost 9 a game last year, getting double-teamed every time he caught it. So he's definitely someone we can build around. Nate, kind of came on strong late. Jermaine only played half the season, but half the season that he played, did a good job. Key missed a bunch of games with his plantar fasciitis, but he's been looking really good. Brennan missed a lot of games. One common theme there, everybody missed a lot of games, but he's been healthy. So those are our 5 returners, and although they all missed games last year, they do know what we're doing and will give us that experience. So I'm excited about those 5 guys. And then, the new guys, we've got some experienced guys, and then we've got the 3 freshmen. So I think it's a good mix. And, I think our depth's pretty good. Once we get everybody healthy and move in the same direction, I think our depth's going to be pretty good. So I like the guys, like working with them, and we just got a lot of work ahead of us.
What have your impressions of the 3 freshmen been this far?
Well, Mookie hasn't practiced because of the ankle. Jackson's, been there every day. He's been competing very hard. Really's got a good quick burst. Just picking up the game, picking up the way we want to play. He's working really hard. He's really coachable. So he's done a great job. KJ has been in and out of practice with some nagging things, nothing serious. And, his length, his skill level is pretty good. Needs to get stronger like most freshmen do. So those 2, have been pretty good. And like I said, Mookie's, going to be back here in a while, but he hasn't practiced yet.
What are the timelines for Mookie and Dante?
Well, I think Dante, maybe another week or so. Mookie's probably, sometime in November.
And Jermaine's cleared and he's back?
Yeah. Yep. Jermaine's back. Jermaine's had a good spring, summer, pretty good fall. So
for the last couple of seasons about 3-point shooting, Dana, and you had some guys who certainly can and have shot the 3, maybe not at the clip that you would aim for, but there's always room for improvement. How do you feel you've addressed the 3-point shooting this offseason with the guys you did bring, Mario or Jadrian? Or?
Well, I think first of all, and I know this is an excuse, but like Jermaine's a good 3-point shooter, but you miss half a season, but he's really worked hard at it. Brennan, we brought here to be a 3-point shooter, and he was out most of the year. So I think those 2 guys from last year's ball team can give us a little bump. Keys shot it really well. He missed a big chunk of the season, but he's been shooting really well. So I think the returners can shoot it. And then as far as your question, addressing the need, Bam, Jajarian, Tracy was a good 3-point shooter, in junior college. So we're hoping that'll translate. Cario didn't shoot it particularly well. He took some off-balance ones that I think we're trying to get out of his shot selection, get more on balance. The ball doesn't look too bad coming out of his hands. Jesse's a good 3-point shooter as far as, since he's been here. He got here in August, but since he's been here, he shot it really well. So, I think we got some guys. Jackson was a good high school 3-point shooter. It takes a while to make the adjustments, a little further back, and the defense usually a little bit bigger, so it'll take a while to adjust, but I think he can shoot it.
You mentioned Nate had a strong finish to the season last year. How have you seen him improve in the offseason, and what are your expectations on him going into the year?
Well, he needs to keep getting stronger, which he's addressed. He's a little bigger, a little stronger. still's got to keep eating, and keep getting a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. He's been in the gym a lot more this spring and this summer, which is always encouraging for a coaching staff to see guys in the gym working. So I think he's done a much better job there. He's just older. He's maturing, and physically he's maturing as a ball player. So, we hope he'll take the next step. But he's put himself in position to do that by working pretty hard this summer.
Do you think that his end to the season last year kind of gave him a boost going into the offseason?
Well, it happened way before then. There was a time there, I don't know, he came out of his injury and just started working a lot harder, and that was kind of the end result of it. It wasn't just like he played better toward the end of the season. He worked his tail off for about 6 weeks and things started happening for him. And so I think that was a lesson for him. I think he saw that he worked a little harder and had a little bit more success. And that usually inspires a player to continue to do that. And again, he had a good spring and summer. I hope that translates to the season. But again, it never goes like that. It's, boom, boom. And so there's going to be some ups and downs. He's going to have to fight through some adversity at times. But he has worked a lot harder, and he's put himself in a much better position than he had as a freshman or a sophomore.
With how much the ball was in Will's hands the past couple of years, and Key obviously helped out a lot last year, how much do you need not just from Key, but really need Jackson to be ready to do that immediately?
Absolutely. First of all, you got to have as many guys as possible handle the ball because it puts defenses on their heels. The more guys that can push it, the more guys that can handle it. So Key's done a good job. Jackson's, really, like I said, really coachable, really trying to do what we need done. So I like the steps he's taken. Jesse's going to have to handle it a little bit for us. He's done all right. Brennan a little bit more than he did a year ago. Jermaine a little bit more than he did a year ago. So, again, I think the ability to put more guys in ball screens, the more guys that can push the ball. Some of our better offenses over the years, we've had a number of ball handlers on those teams, guys that we could put in ball screens, guys that we could have get into the paint and make a play. So, Key's handling it is important for us, but so is Jackson, Jesse, Jermaine, Brennan. Those guys all need to handle it a little bit.
I think that's going to be one of the bigger storylines for Oregon all season long is, without the veteran point guard that Will Richardson was for the last few years, last 5 years really for Will, who is going to be that ball handler? Jackson Shelstad sure looks the part. I think he's been impressive in practice, but it often ends up being by committee. And how many times have we heard Coach Altman in the last 13 years say that you don't have a point guard and a shooting guard. They just have guards. He wants guys that can be able to play multiple different positions on that basketball floor. When we come back, more from Dana Altman. Preseason Media Day. How about that? Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Amethyst and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Basketball season is about a month away at this point. Ducks will open the season at a 1:30 tip-off the first Monday of November. Ducks and Georgia in Vegas. Going to be a fun matchup. But that's one of many non-conference big ones for the Ducks, including a home game against Michigan the Saturday after the Friday night Pac-12 football championship game. I'm just putting it out there for your scheduling. I'm already thinking about those flights. See what happens. Continuing with head coach Dana Altman. Men's basketball practice is underway. The Ducks a little banged up, but a lot more topics to cover with head coach Dana Altman.
Is Brandon fully healthy at this point?
He is. No, he's hadn't had any problems with his ankles, here for a while. So no, he's done a good job, and he's had a good September, October here, so hopefully we can keep him healthy because, we were really kind of counting on him a year ago and got hurt in Canada, and then our very first scrimmage game, he got hurt and got back in December, got hurt again. We couldn't get him healthy and keep him healthy.
With the absence of Will, you lose some of the leadership that he brought to the table. Have you seen anyone really step up and try and fill that, I don't want to say void, but fill that hole in this roster?
Well, I think Dante, came back for a purpose, and the guys respect Dante. They like him, so I think he's someone that guys will follow. Usually it's a little easier if the guy's got the ball in his hands a little bit to lead, and, Jermaine's work ethic, he's not a real vocal guy, but his work ethic's been pretty good. So, I think those two guys, our two leading scorers last year, are back. And so they've got a lot of college experience. So those two things help. Their work ethic's good, so that helps. So I think naturally those two guys will take some of the leadership void. But, I'd rather see it by a group. It's tough if you've got to do it every day by yourself. It really is. And we got a 6-month season, as I've said before. It's a long season. And if you got to be the only guy bringing energy and being vocal every day, it's awfully difficult. It's much better, if there's a group of guys, that can pick each other up. You're not going to have a good day every day. It's really good if you can have some guys pick you up. So I do think we have some groups, especially the 5 guys returning. And some of our new guys are experienced. So, it doesn't have to be 1 or 2 guys. It can be a group thing, and I think we have some guys that are capable of doing that. And leadership's so important when you face adversity, and when the tough times do hit. And so I'm hoping, that last year. When we got down to 6, 7 guys, Will and Quincy did a good job. They came to practice every day, and Will played through some of his own injuries, so, and so did Quincy. So, there's going to be ups and downs, but you need a lot of guys, and we'll need a lot of guys to step up this year.
How do you feel after last year's non-conference schedule was all in-state? Just how do you feel about how this year's schedule came together? Obviously, considerable more travel, but also hosting Michigan in the pre-Big Ten version of things, but finally getting that game.
Yeah, no, we're excited about bringing them in on Saturday. It should be, a big ball game. I think the Big 12 championships the night before, and then we'll play on Saturday, or the Pac-12 championship down in Vegas is on Friday, and then we'll play the next day. We do have some travel. The trip to Florida we were supposed to take during COVID year, so we owed that. We had to make that trip, and they had some cancellations and everything, so they had kind of a hard time getting everything put together there. But and then playing Florida A&M was part of the Pac-12 deal. So we got some travel, but some promoters came to us, gave us an opportunity to go to Vegas to open up the year. I thought it was a good game for us. And then late, we were looking for a big game, trying to get somebody, and then we got another opportunity to go to South Dakota, to play Syracuse, which is better than playing them in the Garden. We don't have to go quite as far. So anyway, I like our non-conference schedule. It is got some travel to it. In next few years, I think we're going to try to cut that travel down quite a bit in the preseason, looking ahead. But this year, the tournament in Florida, the game in Vegas, the game in South Dakota, are all real doable, easy trips, except for Florida. I mean, Florida's a long trip, but the other one, Vegas, is easy, and South Dakota, charter in there, charter back, it won't be that bad.
When it comes to Dante and Nate, and just two guys who are that big and that athletic, like what's the best way to take advantage of the two of them, whether it's having them on the court together a lot or complementing each other and kind of sharing minutes?
Well, we will have them together, and we will have them, both play inside and try to spread the floor with a little smaller lineup. We also got Mo. Mo's been a pleasant surprise. He's practiced really hard and has done some really good things. So, when we get everybody healthy, we got three guys there, and KJ's got some size. He's not as strong as Mo or Dante, but he is long, and so those four guys do give us some length and some size, and we're going to need it. We're going to face some big teams during the year, so I like our depth there. But to answer your question, we'll play them together some like we did a year ago. But we'll also, play Nate at the 5 some, and when Dante's resting or in foul trouble, so we'll put him there some.
With this being the last year of the Pac-12, Daniel, you and Tad are obviously the longest-serving guys. How do you feel about what's happening and this being the last trips, at least in conference play, to the Arizonas? And I'm sure you're not crying too much about not going to Boulder again after this year, but what are your feelings about some of these last trips? And
13 years, and I'm a little disappointed. I love the conference. I like the travel. I like the rivalries. I like the conference. Change is always difficult, and we've got some big changes coming up. But it's also exciting at the same time. I'm not sure about taking some of those long trips in January, February, March. We haven't had one weather delay in the 13 years. I went back and I was thinking, man, we haven't had one weather delay. I said, I don't think we're going to get away with that in the future. But, I sad to see the conference, and I really am. I like the Pac-12. You're part of something for 13 years. Going to miss going places every year, but at the same time, the Big Ten is exciting. It's exciting to go play those teams. It'll be new, and so those will be big challenges for us, and the travel will be different. So it'll take some time to get used to that. But, it's change, and, we'll work our way through it. But I don't like, the Pac-12 closing up shop. I wish we could have kept it together. It didn't work out. So now we have a new opportunity and a new challenge, and an exciting challenge to move to the Big Ten.
Do you want to continue to play Oregon State series at least?
Yeah, no, Wayne and I'll talk and see what works out best for us. But no, I think we should play Oregon State. It'll be a big game for us, November, December, whenever we decide to play it. But I don't have any plans of not playing them. I hope Wayne feels the same way. We really haven't directly talked about it, but I sure hope that we'll play them either in November or December each year and go from there.
I hope for that too, for what it's worth. I hope that maybe the last non-conference game before Christmas or something is always Oregon State, or maybe it's the first game every year if you're not in a big tournament like the Ducks are playing Georgia in that neutral site game. I agree. Coach Dane Altman, brought to you by William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a Duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Every time we talk with a head coach, WVCI brings it to you here on Duck Insider. Speaking of head coaches, one of them's in action tonight. Matt Ulmer's Oregon volleyball team in Boulder. It's a tough one. Knight told you about it on the Quack Minute. If you're not following Oregon volleyball on social media, then you don't get the pre-report from Knight. So do that. And we're going to talk with Matt Ulmer when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear roads, trails, and rivers. Ready for some SUV action? Drive family adventures with the Highlander. Make a splash with the RAV4. Or haul fun with a Sequoia. Check them at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Volleyball is in action tonight. A bona fide top 5 team in the RPI right now, sitting at number 4 heading into the weekend. Colorado, though, they went 5 in Boulder last year. It's a tough place to play. Matt Ulmer on that matchup tonight at 6 o'clock. It's televised on Pac-12 Oregon. I'll be tuned in, hearing from Coach Ulmer this week as the Ducks get ready for that mountain road trip.
I feel like you've seen the response you would want coming off Sunday's result?
Definitely. Yeah, very focused group. I
Again, I like playing really good teams because it shows us where we're good and where we're not good, or where we need to get better. And I think our response has been very determined, to improve upon the places that we struggled.
How much of that is collective from Sunday versus, because like after the 10-0 run at the beginning, things are a little more even. So
yeah, how
much of that do you view more individually versus collectively?
Yeah, I think, again, our sport's so funny where, you could score more points and still lose. So I think for us, we need to understand that we had a lot of chances still to be successful. So not to overreact when we play well or, don't play as well. So for us, we did a lot of things, that were positives. The group understands that. And now there's some things that we're going to have to get better at. So again, I think some of them are individual, like they're coming and getting extra reps or doing extra video or things like that. Or some of the things in practice or things I'm trying to focus on with them. But for the most part, I would say the group is very, very focused moving forward.
You challenged your team with scheduling and non-conference, and that gets you great experience, but it also means you have to get up like match after match after match. Is that something that's been a challenge at all, or do you feel like your group has been ready that way mentally to go?
No, I think that is a challenge. I think it's tough to just always have to bring your A game-ish, for every match. But I think they've done a good job of that. Again, it goes back to practice, right? If you show up every day in practice, then you're going to show up every day in games, and we've done a good job with that. But it's something that, we're getting everybody's best shot, which is a great thing. And I know we're going to get Colorado and Utah's best shot moving forward.
We're talking about the altitude a lot with a lot of different sports, but for volleyball, how does it acclimate when you go to Boulder?
No, it plays, like especially with the serve. I think the ball moves a little bit faster. It floats a little bit differently. Definitely. I do feel like there's an advantage for Colorado at home as opposed to away. I feel like they definitely are a tough place it's a tough place to win. But, we battle, we get in there. I feel like every time we're there, it's a deuce game. Last year, it was one of our hardest matches of the year. But we found a way to get it done. And so, again, it'll be a great test for us, especially coming off of the loss, to Washington State. It'll be a great test for us to see if we can rebound against a good team at a tough place.
Looking at some of Colorado's numbers, they block really well, but they allow their opponents to hit at a pretty high rate.
Yeah.
How unusual is that, or how kind of normal is that? Or
yeah, I think it's hard to tell, but I think their floor defense, there's spots that you can get to them a little bit easier than maybe in the past. So we definitely need to challenge them. We can't be committing all those unforced errors against them. We need to be challenging their defense and keeping pressure on them. Again, on the road, I'm not sure how great of a serving team they are, but at home, they're a very good serving team. So then, again, that will help their block setup, and they're a big blocking team. So we're going to have to handle the pressure from the serve well, so then we can attack the gaps in the block and get after the defense a little bit more. If we do that, we'll be successful. If not, it's going to be a really tough match.
Last week you kind of talked about how you value winning from on the day-to-day standpoint less, and you talked more big picture. Could you elaborate a little bit more?
Yeah, it's funny because this last weekend was perfect. Like, we won on Friday, but I was more disappointed with Friday than it was Sunday, the game we lost. And it made me chuckle, actually, Sunday night, because I was thinking about what I said, and I stand by it. So, I thought our competitive intensity was not very good on Friday against Washington. Yes, we won, and we did things well, but I thought Sunday we had great competitive intensity. It felt like we were playing in a playoff game. It felt important. We were doing everything we needed to do. We just didn't execute great in different facets, and I know that's something that we can get better at and something that we'll continue to work on as we go. But as a coach, I was much more pleased with Sunday, even though we lost, than I was Friday with not playing as good a volleyball.
Despite that result, you move up in the polls, all the shuffling that took place nationally, and RPI comes out, and it seems like computers and voters kind of respect your resume to this point. Were you kind of heartened to see that the strategy you took with scheduling and all that, and the way you guys handled yourselves through all that is being appreciated?
I think it's a little pick-me-up, when it's like you lose, and it was a hard loss because, we paid a lot. I mean, I think both our team and Washington State, we gave a lot on Sunday, and someone had to lose, And then the way we lost when we were up, we had our chances, I think was tough, especially at home. We've been winning so much at home. So, we want to keep winning for our fans, and the crowds have been great. So it was a little bit of a pick-me-up when you move up to 4 in the RPI and you're top 5. We haven't been top 5 in my time here. So that was really exciting, just to see kind of how far we've come also. I'm pleased for our group with that. And I think it did pick up our spirits a little bit, even though we lost, the sky isn't falling and we're okay. We get to fight another day. So, and again, watching us, the 2 matches we've lost, we've we've been right there. We've had our chances, and they're against two good opponents. So I think if you're watching us in totality, you're thinking, we're pretty solid, and we're a solid team.
I asked Coach Ulmer about if you can boil it down to one or two moments, because how many times do we do this in sports, right? We boil it down to that one moment, change the entire game, when in reality it's usually like a collection of things that change an entire game, right? He actually said, though, he's like, look, we've been right there in a couple sets. If that third set last weekend against Washington State, if the Ducks execute a couple times, they had a few set points, suddenly maybe we're not talking about that loss to Washington State. But I thought it was interesting, too, that he said wasn't happy with the performance against Washington, even though the Ducks won. So we'll see if he's happy with that performance tonight. Oregon volleyball in action, 6 o'clock, Pac-12 Oregon in Boulder. The Ducks then at 11 a.m. on Sunday in Salt Lake City against the Utes. When we come back, Ducks softball is back at the Jane this weekend and a charitable cause that you can help out with. We'll tell you about that next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. So a lot going on this weekend. Duck women's tennis also in action at the Student Tennis Center. The Duck Invitational going on. More information, goducks.com. But Oregon volleyball and Oregon soccer are both on the road this week, which opens up your Sunday with Oregon football off for some Oregon softball. At 2:30, Oregon softball takes on Corbin. It'll be a 10-inning game at the Jane. Free admission. That's right, free admission. However, they're asking for a charitable donation to help those that have been impacted by the wildfires in Maui. Every fall ball event weekend for Oregon softball is going to have a charitable event attached to it, which is pretty awesome from Coach Lombardi's team. She met with the media this week in addition to our conversation on Duck Insider a couple days ago and talked for about 20 minutes. We won't get to all of it here to wrap up the show on a Friday, but it is on the GoDucks YouTube. Our Quack video team has it ready for you for those of you that want to see the full press conference. But we'll let you listen in a little bit of Coach Lombardi heading into the start of fall ball at 2:30 on Sunday.
Once you win it all, the end is always jarring, and it was for you guys at the end of last spring, but you had a good run too. How did you feel like your group processed those results, the returners, and kind of how they channeled that through this offseason and into fall now?
Excited to go further than we've gone, which is to a super regional. Disappointed that we lost in the super regional and knowing that we're 2 games away, but then excited to get into this year and to go past it. So them understanding, I think the only way that you can continue to get better is with experience. And so now they've experienced how to win a regional. They've experienced what it feels like to be in a super regional. Like they're experiencing those things that we were originally trying to get to. So I think when you have that, it goes a long way. It makes them want to work hard in the summer. It makes them want to work hard in the fall because they know it was so close.
Replacing that experience is always just part of college sports. But replacing the two who you lost is a particular challenge because of 50 years. I mean, how do you replace Bunk? Everything that she did. How do you do it? How do you go about replacing what Bunk and Tara brought a day-to-day? I mean, Tara who showed up in volleyball last year from class and hits a home run. I mean, like, how do you replace that?
Yeah. I don't know. I think sometimes I don't know if you always replace athletes. There's some athletes, I don't know if they're replaceable, but what I think about is I just think about what we had to go through last year as a team. It gave a lot of experience to the seniors that are here, the seniors and the fifth years that are here. And I think what you'll see from them is when Bunk and Tara were here, they maybe had particular roles as leaders where maybe it was more of show by an example, where I think you will probably hear more from Taya and hear more from some others this year vocally because we lost 2 vocal leaders.
I think Matt Homer said, like with Brooke Nuneviller, like it took a while for him to just get used to the fact she wasn't out there. Did you find yourself at all in some practices like looking for Tara, looking for Bunk? And
yeah, I mean, they've been with me since day one. So you just, they're going to eventually graduate, but then you just kind of feel like they're just going to be here forever, right? Until you see them on senior day. So no, I could feel that. Same thing for us. I think for our athletes as well is that, you start getting into a rhythm at the end of the year and you know exactly what you need to do to prepare and then get into the next game. And I think coming into the fall, we even felt that way a little bit, like, oh, it's just a continuation, and it's not. It's a new journey. And so understanding that there's a new journey, new roles. It's not about trying to match last year. It's about taking what we learned from last year and going into a new journey this year.
So what's the identity? What are the strengths of this group that you want to try to build on this fall?
I think when you would talk about this group, their team culture and how they go about things with each other is really, really important. They've learned that. At the end, you have to have everybody all in from the beginning to the end. And that's tough to do with teams. And this team last year worked really hard at that. And so you could see them understanding things that we need to do in the fall. That's going to make a big difference for them as a team and connecting and the cohesiveness of our group. But then also just the urgency. We come in the fall and we start all over.
It will start all over. We won't get to all of it today. The rest of Coach Lombardi available on the Go Ducks YouTube as the Oregon gets ready for fall ball here on Sunday. Work week, bye week for Duck football. Good luck to Duck soccer, tennis, softball, volleyball this weekend. Enjoy. No football because next week, be ready for the Dogs. See you then.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yeah.